Stop Clutter from Stealing Your Life is about taking your life back from the cluttering behaviors that have stolen it. Because I'm a clutterer, and I'm a reformed clutter, means I'm a whole lot better. And what I found out, the reason I wrote this book, was that all the other books out there on how to organize your life are about how to organize things. But we clutterers can't decide what to get rid of, what to keep. We're living in a sense of overwhelm. So I decided to write a book that would get us out of the overwhelm and back into living life.
Great. So what qualifies you to write a book about cluttering?
Well, I'm a clutterer. And let me tell you, I'm a whole lot better than I used to be. Because I used to live like many of you out there probably, where you had to walk through paths around boxes, piles and piles of newspapers, higher than I am, in order to, get to my bathroom. You needed a map. And what I was able to do was to change from that kind of behavior to living, and I won't tell you I live in a Zen minimalist house because I don't want to, but I am able to live in a very comfortable environment now, and I'm able to decide what to keep that enhances my life and what to throw away that detracts from my life.
I noticed that you said relatively clutter-free. What do you mean?
Clutterers need stuff around them. We feel uncomfortable if we don't have stuff around us. And the whole goal of the life, as I see it, is to change the cluttering behavior where the things around us are those things that we cherish and that we love and we appreciate. And we get rid of the things that don't do that.
One of the points you make in your book is that clutterers put too much importance on things.
Oh, do we ever? I like to say that we spend an hour's worth of worry over a minute's worth of decision. So we're putting so much value on things that have no value, like piles and piles of paper. We have to look at every one in order to decide what to do. We probably don't. Almost everything can be replaced. And I'll give you a little example from my own experience. I had a few years ago, after 5 years of living pretty clutter-free, I had a pretty nice house, and I was living, I still had a little bit of stuff, and I had a fire. Everything burned up. I had my bathrobe and my dog, and I had to start all over. And I found out that I had no identity, I had no money, I had no place to live, and I got my identity back. Friends took me in, family took care of me, and my dog was there with me all the time. So the bottom line is I could replace everything. And every once in a while something will come up that I'll think, oh, I remember that. I used to have that from the time of the fire. But you know what? There are so many more things that I didn't need that I realize now that all that's really important in life is family, friends, and pets.
So why do people clutter?
Fear. Fear is a big one. We clutter because we're afraid of making a decision. We're afraid if we do make a decision, we're going to make the wrong one. We're afraid, we have this innate fear that we don't deserve more in our lives. So we hang on to items that we no longer need. Items that are broken or torn, that need mending. But we're afraid, well, gee, I'm not worth it, so I'm not going to have more stuff coming in my life. So we hang on to old stuff.
So do you have some examples?
Yeah. I used to hang on to newspapers. And you know why? I used to hang on to newspapers because I felt like I needed to know everything, that I was a smart guy and people would come to me to ask me questions about things. So if I had the newspapers, I could always refer back to them. The newspapers are available online, they're available in libraries, and if somebody only likes me because I know something that happened 15 days ago in the newspaper, they're really not my friend.
Great example. Thank you. Do you have anything else to add that we as an audience would really like to know about how we can stop clutter and where can we go? Are there groups out there that we can join?
Well, I formed a support group called Clutterless Recovery Groups for the simple reason that we do better in groups. When we make a commitment to do something to a group. See, one of the biggest problems we have as clutterers is that we have tried so many times to get organized. And we feel like we have failed. So if we have other people just like us, we feel like we're alone. So if we have other people just like us, then we're going to feel that we're not alone and that we have support of others and that there are other people just like us. You're not alone. You're not the only person with this problem. But in terms of immediate changes you can make, one, you didn't get cluttered overnight. You're not going to get decluttered in a weekend. You got to do small baby steps. And you know, this is where I in my book differ from most of the other the books about organizing, the other organizers, is that you got to do it a little bit at a time, and forced decluttering doesn't work. I mean, doing a whole bunch at one time, it's like dieting. How many of you have been on a diet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could probably use one myself, but the crash diets work for a short time. I mean, you lose weight, but it comes back. So crash decluttering works for a short time, but until you change the behavior, you're going to become cluttered all over again. And that's what I'm about. So you do little stuff, you reward yourself when you have some success. You take pictures of your rooms before you declutter them, because you're not going to remember what was cluttered. Everything is like perma-clutter to us. We don't see the clutter. You know, this stuff has just been there forever. It's just part of the landscape. So we take a picture so that we can measure our success. So we have a baseline, psychologists would say. And the biggest thing that you can do for yourself when you're decluttering is to remember that any decision that you make is better than a non-decision or inaction. So do those things and you'll have a clutter-free life and you'll be a lot happier. Thank you.